Been thinking about how much we distract ourselves. Like, even the most courageous of us just so often find a way to not make ourselves feel uncomfortable, right? Whether it's grief or loss or growing feeling of inauthenticity or a piece on the to-do list that we don't like. Existentially, there's always anxiety underneath the surface, just as a result of being alive and in the world with other people. And yet we have this very understandable tendency to want to not feel that. And so I've seen many coaching clients who are just, gotten so used to just keeping themselves busy. And even when they go on holiday, they go whitewater rafting or, lots of activities, lots of plans. So if you find yourself, often it happens unconsciously, right? Sometimes it happens very intentionally. And sometimes it's a very important defense mechanism, right? Because some of these things, that deserve a time and place that is more than just a few minutes. And I think coaching is one of those spaces where we can take a step back and have the courage to face some of the things that have been asking us to be faced, right? Or to be felt or to be experienced. I think grief is one of those times when people are kind of forced to make space. And still, there's so many times around the death of people or the ending of things, phases, times of our lives where we just have to deal with so much logistics around the ending or the new beginnings, that I think we have to remind ourselves to take a step back. And it's sometimes counterintuitive because we know when we now take a step back, who knows what we might feel and who knows what gates might open. And, sometimes when we enter that hole, it's difficult to come out of it. And that's, I think, why it's especially helpful to do that with a trusted other, a coach, a therapist, a supervisor, a good friend, or, even making time with ourselves, reflective space, time to process, time to take a step back, time to feel whatever is there. And it takes courage to do that because it's often uncomfortable. But I believe it's always better in the long term to do that. But I also think there's a time and space, especially as a parent. I know there's a time when we really need to function. And, sometimes depending on what we're facing, we just can't quite function when we allow to feel things that want to be felt. So, that's my invitation to you today. Reflect for a moment. What might there be that you might be avoiding? And on some level, you probably know it. And where could be those spaces where you can make time to process, to feel it, to face it?